Good morning, children. Welcome to our English class. We were doing lesson 3, Native Wisdom. Let us continue with the second half of the lesson. So, children, in the last class, we have done till second page half. Let us continue from there. Leon did not say anything and walked along barefoot, shaking his head in confusion at the stupidity of the natives. The tourist followed his guide. They passed through solid vegetation, dark, damp, and appearing to be devoid of any living being. It was only when Leon stopped and drew his attention that the tourist would see the many different creatures of the rainforest. Now, in the previous class, we have seen, children, because this tourist was thinking Leon to be a not so knowledgeable person. He was thinking Leon is not wise, so he was calling him as Buckman and also always teasing this tourist guide. But Leon did not care about all this. He was doing his work as usual. So as they were walking, Leon has taken off his shoes and was carrying it over his shoulders. The tourist laughed at it and he said, "Hey Leon, shoes are meant for your feet, not to be carried on your shoulders." But Leon did not reply anything for it. Then what happened? As they were walking, you can see the picture. The tourist guide, Leon, is barefoot. Barefoot means having no footwear. He did not wear his footwear, he was just carrying them. But this person who has come to visit this place, the rainforest, he has put on his shoes. So he didn't understand. This tourist did not understand why Leon has taken off his shoes. He was confused. At the same time, he was thinking Leon is stupid. Stupid in the sense he doesn't understand when to wear shoes, when not to wear shoes, how to be dressed. Leon doesn't understand anything. This was the thought of the tourist, which was actually wrong. So thinking all this, tourist just followed the guide. Who is guide here, children? Leon is the guide. As they were walking, they saw solid vegetation. Vegetation means lots of green plants. And there was no living being around. That means devoid. The word devoid, devoid means, children, not having. So where they were walking, they could not see any living organism. No animals, no birds, nothing was seen. Only plants were seen. So what happened? Suddenly, Leon stopped. And when he stopped, as they were walking, they saw a lot of creatures. All the while, there were no living organisms, no animals, no birds, no creepers, nothing. Suddenly, they found a lot of creatures in the rainforest. You can see in the picture, there's a hummingbird, there's a snake over there. So, they could see beautiful creatures over there. Drew his attention. Drew his attention is something which makes you look at it suddenly, which attracts your attention. So, these creatures attracted the tourist and the guide Leon's attraction. With our lesson, children, it's in page number 23. He would realize, for instance, that the moth he saw flitting from flower to flower in a forest glade was actually a hummingbird. The thick liana draped over a fallen tree with a richly patterned bark had a flat head at one end of it, for it was really a boa constrictor lying in wait for its prey. He would reach out to pick its pretty flower, only to have Leon spin around, strike his hand away, and tell him that what he was about to touch was a dangerous nettle. So what happened? Both of them were continuing their walk. As they were walking, this tourist, he saw a moth. He was thinking it was a moth which was flitting. The meaning of the word flitting, flitting, children. The meaning of the word flitting is moving slowly from one place to another place. Moving in a soft way from one place to another place. So this tourist saw this moth kind of thing which was moving from one flower to another flower. In the forest glade, Glade, glade. You can look at the picture, children. Glade. What is a glade? It's an open space in a forest which has grass on it. You can see there is an open space where grass is covered on the ground. That is called glade. So it was moving. This moth was moving. But actually it was not a moth, children. It was a hummingbird. You can see the beautiful hummingbird's picture over there. So what happened as this was going on? There was one more view over there. There was a liana. What is a liana? You can look at the third picture. Liana is a thick woody climber that grows on trees. So you can see there is a tree, and over that something is draped around. Something has curled around this liana. Something which is like twining around it. You can see that is called as liana. So liana is a climber plant which climbs around some other tree. So this liana was another scene they have observed over there. It was looking like a snake twining around a tree. You can see here boa constrictor. It's the name of the snake. This liana plant was looking like a snake, as if it has curled itself around a tree. So what is this liana plant, children? Liana is a woody climber that grows on a tree. So suddenly, as this tourist was getting closer to these plants and trying to touch these plants, suddenly Leon saw it, and he turned quickly and he stopped this tourist and told him, "You are not touching any normal plant, just observe. It's a nettle." You can see the picture of nettle, children. What is a nettle? It's a kind of plant that stings. You can see the sharp thorns over it. Yes, brush like thorns. So when you touch such kinds of plants, you get stung by them and you'll have rash over your body. So this tourist did not have any idea about plants, animals in the rainforest. He was blindly going on trying to touch and explore everything. Whereas Leon was a wise person. He knew everything about forest. So he immediately saved this tourist from being stung by the nettle plant. Soon they came to a point where they had to wade across a stream. The tourist took off his shoes and laughed out loud when he saw Leon putting on his shoes. "Man, this takes the cake," he said. "If you wade through water with shoes on, your shoes will get wet and spoiled." Leon did not say anything and entered the knee-deep water. His companion, still shaking with laughter at the stupidity of his guide, followed. Halfway across the stream, the tourist yelled with pain and fell into the water. With great difficulty, Leon hauled him out to the bank and discovered that. So what happened next, children? So as Leon, the guide, saved this tourist from a nettle's stung, next what happened? They were continuing their walk and they found a stream of water. You can see the water over there, children, in the picture. So they came close to the stream of water. Now they have to get into the water. So Leon did not put on his shoes previously, right? Now what did Leon do? He put them on. Before he got into the water, Leon put on his shoes. Tourist saw this and he started to laugh. "Hey, you're stupid, Leon. When we get into water, we should not put on our shoes because shoes will get spoiled." Spoiled means spoilt. They'll get damaged. So you cannot use them anymore. They get wet, they'll smell bad, and they'll get torn away very easily. Don't you know this also, Leon? When we are in water, we have to take out our shoes. Leon did not answer anything. But this tourist, he took out his shoes and he was walking barefoot in the water. You can see the picture. The scene is reversed now. Leon has put on his shoes, whereas the tourist has taken off his shoes. He was even making fun of Leon, telling, "You don't know anything, when to wear your shoes, when to take out your shoes." He said this takes the cake. What does that mean? Here an informal and mocking way of saying there is so strange that is hard to believe. So that means some people do all strange acts which look funny. Such statements are referred to this takes the cake. So this tourist thought Leon is really funny who doesn't understand what to do properly. So both of them got into the water. The water was up to their knees. You can see the picture. So it has come up to their knees. So they were in knee deep water. His companion still shaking with laughter. Who is a companion, children? Companion is the person who comes with you or walks with you for a long distance, who gives you his company to walk or to be with you for a long time. So the companion of this tourist was Leon. So both of them were walking through the water. As they were walking and they reached half of the way, suddenly this tourist started to shout in pain. Y-E-L-L-E-D, yelled. Yelling is shouting with a sharp cry, children. Tourist started to cry in pain. Then Leon went close to him and hauled him out to the bank. H-A-U-L-E-D. Haul means pulling something with great force. So this person, tourist, was feeling lot of pain in his leg. You can see the picture. So Leon went close by and brought him out of the water. We'll see what happened to this tourist's leg. Now this is the next page, children. That is page number 24. Being stung by a stingray. The stingray is a flat fish that lies buried in the sand in stream beds and uses the sting in its long whip-like tail to hit and paralyze its prey. It also uses this as a defense when someone is about to step on it. When Leon had been able to soothe the pain of his companion with a salve from certain leaves, he said to him, "Where the eye can't see is where people need shoes. Where the eye can see, you don't need shoes. It is not only my shoes that I am worried about, it's my feet." So why was this tourist feeling the pain, children? Because he was stung. What was he stung with? A stingray. You can see the picture. It's a flat fish. The fish which has a flattened body, it usually is in water. It is underground. It acts like it is not seen at all. It buries itself in the sand. That means it covers itself with the sand. So you will feel that's only sand. There is no organism over there. But under the sand, this stingray hides. That is burying. Covering itself under something is burying. So this stingray was in the water because the tourist did not wear shoes, right? He was thinking Leon is stupid who wore shoes, but Leon was wise. He knew that there will be harmful organisms in the water. So to protect his feet, Leon wore the shoes. Whereas this tourist thought, I am very wise, I know everything, I am well educated, and he took off his shoes and was stung by this stingray. So because of this stingray's stung, he was feeling deep, terrible pain. Now stingray is this flat fish, children. It stings the people with its tail. You can see its tail. It's very sharp like a whip. Whip is the last picture you can see. Whip was used in previous days to punish people. With this whip, the people were being hit. And the edge of the whip, you can see it's very sharp, which causes lot of hurt on the body. The stingray's tail was also so sharp to hurt people. And once it bites people, it paralyzes the prey. Prey is whatever is its food which it attacks. It can be people, it can be animals or anything. Once this fish attacks someone, it paralyzes the prey. Paralyze means making that unable to move or feel anything. So once if you are stung by it, you cannot move from there. You will become paralyzed. So this person was hurt by this stingray. It does that not because it wants to hurt other organisms, children. It only does that because the stingray or any animal imagines that those people or other organisms are trying to harm it. So to save itself, it has to definitely harm the other person. That is called defense. Defensing is protecting ourselves from other people or other things attacking us. So the tourist was stung by a stingray. So Leon brought him out, and after some time this Leon applied a balm to him. SALVE. Salve is a balm, like an ointment. It is made from plants, you can see. So the ointment made from plants was applied to this tourist's leg where it had been bitten, and after some time he started to feel better. The pain was lessened. That is called soothe. Soothe is getting relieved from the pain. Then Leon told him, when we are supposed to wear shoes is when we cannot see on the ground anything. That is the point we are supposed to wear shoes. For example, when it is night, you cannot see the ground or the floor. That is the time you need to wear shoes, so that the shoes protect you from any harmful thing or any sharp thing being hurting you. Same way, when you are in water, you cannot see what is near to your feet. That is the time you need to wear shoes. And when you are not in water or when it is daytime, you can see the ground very clearly. So you don't need to wear shoes. That's what Leon explained to this tourist. Tourist felt ashamed of himself, and he realized that people who live in big cities and towns and who get well educated, they are very wise, they have good knowledge. But that doesn't mean people who live in very remote places or small villages or forest tribes, they are not having wisdom. They too have wisdom. They know about plants, they know about animals, they know how to save themselves from animals' attack, how to prepare medicines from plants. So they too have wisdom in them and knowledge in them. We should not treat anyone as lesser than us. That's what this man understood. That is the meaning of native wisdom. These are the hard words of the pages we have done, children. Flitting. Flitting is moving slowly from one place to another. Glade, the open space covered with grass. Hummingbird, you have seen the picture. Draped, you can see here this liana is draping itself, curling itself around the big tree. That is called draping. Patterned, if you look at the tree bark, children, the second picture, the bark has some sort of design on it. You can see every plant or tree has different design on its bark. That is called patterned. Boa constrictor, that's a kind of snake. Nettle is a plant which causes harm. Wading is moving around. Stream, water. Spoiled, getting damaged. And wade is walking through water with great difficulty. Companion is the person who comes with us for a walk, who stays with us for a long time. These are few more hard words. Yelled, shout in great pain or anger. Hauled, what is the meaning of hauled? Pulling with great difficulty. Stung, being bitten by any harmful insect or a worm. Stingray, you have seen the picture, it's a flat fish. Buried, covered in sand or covered under something. Whip, you have seen the picture, that's an instrument used to hurt people in previous days. Paralyze, making the body not to move at all. Defense is, it's a type of mechanism to protect ourselves from enemy's attack. Soothe, feeling relief from any pain. After you apply balm or take medicine, you feel less pain. That is called soothe. Salve is a kind of ointment or a balm applied to heal a wound.